Hello, it is Topical Tuesday, September 5th, 2018. I think that's the right date. Time is flying. We are into the final third of the year, and I am into the final few hours of the day after 7 p.m. here. After wondering all day, what should I talk about? There are so many topics going on. Jim is here, good seeing you. But I got to go to this one because it's really just, it's nowhere near over. This whole NFL brouhaha over the whole kneeling, disrespecting the flag and the anthem Colin Kaepernick fiasco that's been going on for a while. Heather is here, good seeing you. I mean, it just keeps getting worse for the NFL, doesn't it? And I'm sorry to laugh, but I just got to keep laughing at the NFL owners who are proving just about on a daily basis that they are collectively the worst, dumbest business owners in the history of mankind. I mean, they allowed this Colin Kaepernick disrespecting the national anthem thing to go on, and then once Kaepernick stopped doing it, Donald Trump came on the scene, and you've heard me talk about it, and we talked about it on the Lessons Learned from Donald Trump podcast, that Trump has a decades-long feud ever since the NFL colluded, to use a word, conspired to put his USFL out of business back in the 80s. Trump sued him and won, but the joke was on him because the jury awarded him $1 in damages. Tripled, by the way, because it was an antitrust case, so Trump and his fellow USFL team owners went away with $3. And ever since then, you can better believe, if you follow anything about Donald Trump, you see he's not really good at letting a grudge go, is he? So he, of course, was seething for decades about how to get back at the NFL, and when he got to the biggest bully pulpit in the world, being pretty much the biggest bully in the world, he decided to launch out at the NFL, and he is just hitting his stride and not letting up at all, and the hapless NFL owners are screwing up at every turn. I don't blame the players or Colin Kaepernick at all. These are kids, mostly dumb kids who don't know what they're doing anyway, and are easily led astray by whomever happens to be egging them on social media or anything. But also, why not? Make all the money they can, get all the attention they can. Colin Kaepernick suing the NFL, get all the money he can, while the NFL owners stupidly can you imagine, I mean, as a business owner, can you imagine allowing your employees to do whatever the heck they want on the job? To protest whatever the heck they want while they're on the job working for you? I mean, clearly you would be the weakest, dumbest, worst business owner in the history of mankind, and that pretty much describes every single NFL owner. Even Jerry Jones, who comes out and says, look, we're not kneeling. Last year he did once. But even if one doesn't, it's a group, and they live and die as a group, of course. So all their money comes as a group from their TV contracts and all of their uniform and souvenir sales and NFL apparel and all is all split as a group. Everything is a group. So they're only as strong as their weakest link. So you can't look to a strong link like Jerry Jones, who has his star players coming out and saying, look, don't be stupid. We're not disrespecting the national anthem of our own country. What do you think? So the star running back and the star quarterback both come out and say that, and the owner says that. It doesn't matter. You got 30 whatever other NFL owners, most of which are being weak idiots to allow their employees to protest on the job. I can't even, come on now, I've covered this. I've talked about it in private, I've talked about it in public. I just cannot imagine, can anyone, that if I went out to eat at a restaurant and the waiter came over to the table and suddenly started, he came over with a big sandwich board and a big sign protesting something and screaming and yelling. And the restaurant owner would come over to us and go, well, you understand, First Amendment, he has the right to protest. So I'm like, no one has the right to protest on a job. Stop being stupid, NFL owners, but they're going to continue to being stupid. And now here comes Nike comes along, and Nike knows its target market. Do you think people like me are buying Nike sneakers and shoes and paying $300 for Air Jordans and whatever? Like, of course not. It's the younger millennials and the active kids and people that are, shooting hoops on the street and doing whatever that'll, and it's a fashion element. I think I read something recently that musicians entertainers are selling more sneakers now than athletes. So it's a whole, just part of the whole culture now to be wearing the cool sneakers. And so Nike knows that's its target market, and so that target market happens to be virulently anti-Trump and pro kneeling at the flag and pro-socialism and all the anti-American things you can think of. So Nike naturally just charms in and goes, hey, we're anti-American too. We're on Colin Kaepernick's side. And then so now you have people, patriotic Americans burning their Nike stuff, whatever. That's not only is it not going to hurt Nike at all, but Nike knows what it's doing. Nike's, first of all, has been hurting itself. Their sales have been down, and they've been suffering, and competition has come and starting to eat up some market share from them. So calculate a risk. They said, let's go all out and get lots of attention and jump on the anti-Trump, anti-NFL, pro-Colin Kaepernick protesting for, they change their mind every day about what they're protesting about. They're really just protesting. We're anti-rich old white guy, which is the NFL team owners and Donald Trump now. And they're protesting all that. And I completely, as always, don't blame the players. I blame the owners. The owners mistreated their employees, their players, for decades with all kinds of stupid rules and restrictions and treating them like crap. And this is what they get. They also paint themselves into the corner with their draft and their own self-imposed scarcity that they're afraid to step up and have some gonads and fire the people that are not following the rules. If I say, first of all, anyone thinks, if you don't understand, and the reason these players get paid so much is pro sports is entertainment. It's a show. And so Jerry Jones, let's use that example. He comes out in Dallas and he goes, look, here's the show. I built this whole billion-dollar stadium with the biggest TV screen in the world because the whole thing's a show. I got the most famous cheerleaders. I got the most famous stadium, the most famous team. We call ourselves American Team. I got the most famous slogan. Like, it's all about the show. And when my employees put on the uniform, on Broadway it would be called costume, or in a movie. But in sports, it's called a uniform. But they put that on and they do the show. Well, part of the show is they stand and put their hand in front of their heart, and they act as if they're pro-American because the overwhelming majority of the NFL fans are patriotic Americans. And now we see right through all that the players are not pro-American. They're anti-American, and the truth comes out that they actually want to act all huffy and angry, even though they're, of course, part of the evil 1% and making millions of dollars and have more entitlement than just about anybody in America, and they can do anything they want. But they come right out and they say, I'm resenting that these team owners have treated me this way, and the team owners are afraid to say, that's it, you know what, you're fired, or you're benched, or you're anything. Because now what am I going to do? I can't just go out and sign another player. They don't exist. The draft is once a year, and I took my draft pick on this guy who's kneeling. And now my fans can't stand it. So there's such trouble going on for the NFL because they're so weak. They didn't stop Kaepernick in the beginning, and now they're not stopping the players now, and it's all a mess. People like me will never watch another NFL game. That happened to me after week 1 last year, or maybe week 2 it was, but now you're seeing it. The storm has been brewing all through the whole season last year and now all the preseason. So the numbers are going to be way down this year in the NFL. The players don't care. They sign their contracts. They make their money. It's the team owners that are suffering. It's the team owners that are being idiots. It's team owners that are being stupid, and they deserve everything they get. And Trump is laughing and laughing at getting his revenge, decades coming. And I'm laughing, just enjoying the silliness and the stupidness of it. And that's my take on Topical Tuesday. Let's go to, I see a whole bunch of people here, and I see some comments. And let's see, Ace is here. Jesse's here. Brian McLaughlin's here. George is here. And Ace says, Levi Strauss just came out as pro-gun control. And there's no really such thing as gun control. It means people control. So Levi Strauss came out as anti-freedom and pro-government control of people. And Levi's another company whose sales have been plummeting. And I guess people, I don't know, fashion comes and goes, but I guess kids are not wearing denim. It's temporarily on the outs, and so there you go. Levi wants to jump on the bandwagon and take a controversial stand. I mean, we see a guy right there in the White House because of controversy alone. As you see, he stirs it up every day. how he got well known, how he stays known, how he stays in the public eye. Everyone knows all this stuff. I hope you know all this stuff. That Trump says and does all kinds of stupid things just to stir up controversy, and that keeps him, has him, for crying out loud, in the White House. And so Levi's and Nike now stirring up the controversy. Might their sales go up a little? Might they go down a little? Whatever. Point is, they're desperate. They're both their sales are going down, and they're looking to do something. And so if they want to do something controversial, and there are two sides to the NFL, there's the rich old white guys, and there's the young entertainers and athletes that are anti-Trump. Well, which side do you think an apparel company should be on? Whether you make sneakers or jeans or denim jackets or whatever, who do you think your customers are? You think they're me? You think I'm going out shopping every day for the latest fashions? So they're jumping on the side of the young anti-Trumpers. And how can you blame them? Smart move. All right, who else is here? Brian McLaughlin says, if the Jets open up 10-0, you are back. First of all, I have no idea what the Jets' record was last year, what it would be this year. I will never, of course, what a stupid comment. I will never, of course, watch an NFL game ever again now that I know that the players are faking it. I have no interest in watching them. The reason I stopped watching yesterday, for people who make idiot comments like that don't understand, is I had trouble keeping track of who I wanted to not root for. I remember, and it was in week 2, I was watching the national anthem, and I saw a couple of these people kneeling, and I was like, I hope that they don't throw a pass to that bastard the whole game. And then I realized as the weeks going on, and more of these players were showing that they're not patriotic, they hate America, they're disrespecting me, their own country, themselves. I mean, again, they're kids, you can't blame them. You got to blame their boss for not waking them up and going, or their agent or somebody, and going, hey, that's stupid, stop doing that. And so I was like, I can no longer try and figure out who I want to root for and who I don't. And then, of course, people might know me that back in the 1980s, I built the world's largest fantasy sports game company. I continue to play fantasy sports games just to keep up in the industry, and some owners of the various companies are people I still know and I go way back with, and I kind of stay up with it. But last year, after week 2, I let the commissioners know of the few leagues I was in. I'm like, I'm out. I can't play fantasy sports anymore and follow the NFL because I was having trouble. I remember I had LaShawn McCoy as my star running back, first round pick on one of my teams, and the guy started kneeling, and I was like, well, I'm not playing the guy. See, unlike the NFL team owners, I have a backbone, so I refuse to have a guy playing on my team who's disrespecting his own country. For crying out loud, how stupid is that? So, but what am I going to do? If I bench the guy or I trade him for somebody of much lesser talent, or what, I can't keep track of this, and I'm not going to win. And that's exactly pretty much what the NFL owners are thinking. I can't start benching all these star players that I paid all this money for, and I have a limited roster. I can't replace them. And so what the NFL owners should do, if they had any self-respect, is they would sell the team and get out. And I know a couple have talked about it, and you'll see a few do it. Well, I did it with fantasy sports. Easy to do. It's not like I invested billions of dollars into it. I invested $0 into those teams, or $100 or whatever you pay to get in them. And I was like, I'm out. Take over my team, give it to somebody else. I'm no longer playing fantasy football. I still play fantasy baseball. Season's going on. Playoffs are just starting now, but no more fantasy football. Canceled my DirecTV last year. Got rid of every single thing. I think it was Brian on here with the idiotic comment about something about the Jets record, like I could care less. All my Jets stuff is gone. Everything's gone. I have no interest in such a stupid organization of team owners. That's like saying, this restaurant I talked about, if I went in and ordered a meal and the owner of the restaurant was so stupid that he let all his employees start protesting all over the place in front of me when all I wanted to do was get a meal, you think I'd ever go back to that restaurant, even if it got rated 5 stars? I give a crap if the Jets go 10. What do I care? If the Jets go 10-0, like I care. Jets owner's an idiot. Jets players are all idiots. Of course, I don't fault the players for doing it. I don't know. You'd have to think about how many employees for businesses, if employees were allowed to do stupid, disrespectful things, and their employers allowed it, how many would do it? Lots. I'll bet lots. I mean, look at it. Look, ever since Trump took over and Trump derangement syndrome hit the whole country, look at all the anti-Trump marches going on. right? Oh, or how about the Parkland thing with all the the pro-government control, anti-gun owner, anti-freedom kids coming out in Parkland and saying, let's take a day off of school and go march. Like, see, all that being allowed, who did it? 90% of the kids went and did it. So the same thing would happen on a job. If every job allowed everyone to just protest on the job like the stupid NFL owners, how many would do it? So many would do it. It's retarded, it's stupid, and I would not be a customer of any of those businesses, and so would lots of other people would not either. No matter what a dumb thing to say. If the Jets go 10-0, I wouldn't even know if the Jets went 10-0. I couldn't care less. Jerry says Jerry says Dick's Sporting Goods, I think that is. Yeti. Don't know what that is. Under Armour. Oh, Yeti. I remember that. That's a, damn it, some kind of hunting or camp. See, I have a blue Yeti microphone I use for my podcast. But I know Yeti is some kind of hunting cooler. I think it's the cooler, right? The Yeti was the cooler that they were blowing up or something. So Jerry's in the outdoors world, so he knows all about Dick's Sporting Goods and outdoor coolers and Under Armour, which probably all came out against guns. Jerry's a big pro-gun guy. I'm only a pro-gun guy because that's pro-freedom, and that's in the Bill of Rights, the list of freedoms of Americans. So, of course, I'm not in favor of the government taking away our freedoms. How stupid would that be? But you got a whole different thing going on with Dick's Sporting Goods. Dick's Sporting Goods, I think they no longer sell guns, but they still sell lots of camping equipment. So the people that would go in there to buy a gun would end up walking out with, also, I'll take a tent and a this and a that and whatever. They're no longer in the store. So their sales are down a little bit. Yeti coolers, I don't know, if they're only used by the same people, hunters and campers, their sales will go way down. And Under Armour. Under Armour, similar to Nike. Similar target market of the young, active, anti-Trumper audience. They're right to take the anti-Trump stance and the anti-American stance. Jerry says the Iowa Hawkeyes wave to the kids at Iowa Children's Hospital every game. I don't even know what to make of that. I know Hawkeyes is the nickname for the Iowa college sports teams. So that could be one of probably 60 different teams called the Iowa Hawkeyes. But I'm just going to guess that it's football since I'm talking about the NFL. And let's see if the Iowa Hawkeyes football players wave to the kids at Iowa Children's Hospital every game. I have no idea what that means. Are you trying to tell me that, let's assume again it's football, that football players somehow wave to kids at a hospital? In other words, they wave to a camera? As if to say, kids are watching from a hospital, so I don't even know what it means, or not, I don't care. I don't know what's that got to do with anything, but good for them. Jerry says, all the players and the fans, just saying. All the players and the fans. So, waving to kids at a hospital. First of all, in other words, waving to a camera? Assuming that, or just that out of the, 0.001% of the people watching are kids at a certain hospital? I mean, good for them, whatever. By the way, it's such an inane comment, by the way, because if that is football players on the Iowa Hawkeyes, you can absolutely bet that any of them that make the NFL will be kneeling immediately. Unless they go to a team with an owner like Jerry Jones that has some self-respect and says, dude, you can't do that on the job. Ace says, read that one, Phil is here. Ace says the football team, okay. And, the hospital overlooks the field. Really? How about that? So at the Iowa College, there's a hospital. So in other words, I wonder how many kids go out partying. The games are on Saturday. They go out partying on Friday night, and then they just claim, holy crap, I'm sick. I got to get in the hospital here for Saturday so they can watch the game for free from the hospital. But I digress. So... and once again, they can say, here's a good example here. Jerry is claiming that these football players are waving to kids in the hospital. That's the same as Colin Kaepernick claiming that he's kneeling because of police brutality or whatever. First of all, it's Children's Hospital. They're still waving towards the hospital. So there are nurses there are doctors there are lots of people they're waving towards. They can say in their own mind they believe that they are doing something good by waving to kids, in the same way Kaepernick can say, I believe I'm doing some good. I'm not disrespecting the country and the flag, mind you. I am bringing attention to, I'm anti-police brutality. So whatever's in the mind of the Iowa Hawkeye players, no one gives a crap. Whatever's in the mind of Colin Kaepernick, you don't give a crap. The point is, the football players wave towards the hospital that's near the field, good for them. Colin Kaepernick or whoever the players are now are kneeling, disrespecting the American flag, good for them. I mean, that's just the action they're doing. And as an observer, I don't really care about their motive why. So in one case, sounds like a good motive. They're waving to kids. I don't care. They're waving, big deal. And the other ones are kneeling. Oh, but we're kneeling for a good cause. I don't care. You're kneeling during the national anthem. Don't tell me it isn't about the national anthem. What a dumb thing to say. Then why wouldn't you wave, with 3 minutes left in the third quarter? Of course you're waving. You're kneeling during the national anthem to disrespect the national anthem. It's, of course, a smart thing to do to get attention. You're not getting attention for disrespecting the third quarter with 3 minutes left. You get attention for disrespecting your country. And Jerry has some kind of link to ESPN, which I appreciate the attempt, but when I finish this video, I will be deleting that link from my Facebook page, because there's another station, ESPN, that I used to watch all the time. In fact, I interviewed the founder of it back on my radio talk show days in Boston when it first was founded. Loved ESPN forever, and a couple of years ago I realized ESPN had made itself completely unwatchable because of their stupid politics, and they're disrespecting the country, their own people, their own viewers. And ESPN is another one, like a bunch of other companies that are suffering. Because unlike the apparel sellers, whose market is the younger, hipper, active crowd, the TV sports channel crowd is people like me who are no longer watching ESPN, and I won't have a link to ESPN on my Facebook page either. So I'm going to use some good old censorship there and delete that link. I'm sure whatever the heck you think you're linking to, Jerry, you can find a link to some other website or something about whatever you're doing. But again, like I said, I really don't care what's in the players' minds when they're waving at a building. They think they're waving to kids and it's a good thing. I don't care. They're waving at a building. In the same way that players are kneeling during the national anthem. I don't care what's in their mind and why they think they're doing it. It's a stupid thing to do. But anyway. So you got a smart thing and a stupid thing, or a nice thing and a dumb thing, or some people think it's nice to protest, during the national anthem. It's a polarizing topic, to be sure. And that's why it's here on Topical Tuesday. So that's enough beating of the dead horse. You know where I stand? I know it's a newsflash, but I stand with America. And I stand against people who disrespect America. And that's why I will never watch another NFL game. Like I said, had one of the dumbest comments ever I've seen on Facebook of Brian McLaughlin trying to claim that I would somehow watch the NFL again because one of the teams won some games. Like I give a crap. The owner's an idiot, and the players are fools. And the whole thing is a joke. And I will have nothing to do with it, but I do enjoy their demise. And so I will continually talk about it and bash them because, yeah, I did really put in a lot of time and effort and money into being a customer, a fan, as it's called, of the NFL, short for fanatic. I was dedicated lots of hours of my life to it. I look back and I'm like, what was I thinking? Now I know what lots of, football wives, as they're called, around the country, think about their ridiculous husbands that spend all their Sundays watching a bunch of kids. And now that we know they're a bunch of disrespectful kids, it's even more ridiculous that I ever did that. And so, no, of course, I will never watch another game. There's plenty more people like me, but there's plenty of people that'll watch the game and love it and say, way to go, we love protesting and we hate America. And, I saw something where a couple of TV stations won't even be broadcasting the national anthem anymore so that they think out of sight, out of mind. Get a clue. Like, you don't think photographers are going to stop snapping pictures and putting them all over social media and all over TV and newspapers, wherever? You're going to see players continue to disrespect themselves, their bosses, their teammates, their country, their flag, the national anthem, their everybody. It's going to continue until the NFL owners get smart enough, if that ever would happen, to stop it. Who knows if they ever will? I won't be around to see it because, like I said, I'm not interested in watching a bunch of people who are forced to act patriotic when now I know they're not. No interest in those people. So that's it for Topical Tuesday. I'll be back tomorrow with a more pleasant topic because it'll be Wisdom Wednesday, and I'll be right back to the pure business lessons tomorrow. I'll share some wisdom that'll help you to grow your business, work on your own terms, make the money you want, enjoy the lifestyle you like, help lots of people, make lots of money, do all kinds of good things that business is all about. So thanks everyone being here today, and I'll catch you tomorrow on Wisdom Wednesday. Bye-bye.